friends, and welcome back to the Kiddo Explorers channel, and I'm Sriram. Because we just don't watch the world move, we unpack the systems and people who make it happen. And today we have such of a big leader. He's a member of Essendon, the former Victorian Minister, Danny Pearson, from giant underground metro tunnel things to our schools and video games. We're going to explore so many cool things with him today. Welcome to our show, Danny. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Danny, what was it like when you were like my age? And did you already have a secret plan back to become the leader?
No. Look, when I was your age, it was a different time. It was a quieter time. It was a simpler time. But like you, I'd just sort of, run around. I'd read books. I'd play with my friends, and I had no thoughts about going into politics at all at that stage.
What was the exact wonderful spark of that moment you say, yes, I want to get into politics and help people?
Yeah, look, I think the member here was retiring. His name was Justin Madden, and he said he was going, and I thought that stage I was 41, and I thought here's my chance to try it out and give it a go. And I didn't know whether I would like it. I didn't know whether I'd be any good at it, but it's been great. It's been a wonderful experience, but it's time to go and do something else.
Anzac Station Underground is bigger than the MCG or all the metro tunnel stations. Maybe Melbourne Central is the biggest with Town Hall. What is it like to stand next to those monster tunnel boring machines digging under the city?
Yeah, well, so when I was the minister, by that stage, all the tunnel boring had been completed. But when we were building the North East Link, we had tunnel boring machines there. And so by the time I became the Transport Infrastructure Minister, we had done all the boring, we had fitted out a lot of the stations, and we're at that stage where we were testing and trialling the new system. So I came a bit late, but I've got to tell you, the tunnel boring machines are massive. Like, they are mega. They're huge.
Like our old city loop, like something like that size.
They're about, look, I think with the North East Link, my memory was that they're something like 16 metres in diameter. So they're enormous. They're larger than this room, and you've just got to keep them moving and going the whole time. So they're massive. But it's really exciting to see. And they're always, I think there's a patron saint for tunnellers. I think it's called Saint Bartholomew, I think. And tunnel boring machines are always named after women as a sign of good luck. So they're always named after women.
So now the metro tunnels only function by CBTC and the HCMT. No more common engines.
Nope.
There.
Yeah, well, because what we wanted to do is we wanted to have modern 21st century public transportation for our fantastic city, because Melbourne is a modern city. It's a global city. And, when you go on the metro tunnel, you've got screens, so it's safe, it's protected. You've got, I think there's 7 car sets is the rolling stock that we use. And it's modern, it's clean, it's efficient. So it's really good. So, and soon we'll be seeing the last of the comm engines on the Craigieburn Line, and the X-Trap 2s will be coming into place.
I think the Stage 3 life extended comm engines will still stay till 2032 or something.
There you go. Well, I just built the infrastructure. I didn't run it. So I reckon, I reckon if you go into politics, you should be the Minister for Public Transport, because I reckon you've got a pretty good idea how to run these things.
Yeah. Wait, there's also a future extension of extending the HCMT from 7 to 10 cars.
Yeah, so and I think if you look at the metro tunnel, when you see there is the capacity to extend it. So you can do that in terms of growth and future projections around growth.
But that will cost more dollars just to get them from China.
Yeah, well, I think in terms of some of that rolling stock was built overseas. There's a question mark in terms of whether you could build some of it under licence up at Ballarat, because Ballarat, they've got a really significant rail production facility. The trams are built out at Dandenong. But yeah, I mean, look, the rolling stock, it costs a bit, but it's not as much as the to build the actual infrastructure itself, and then you've obviously got to run it. So it's almost like the most expensive thing is to build it. Then the next most expensive thing is the rolling stock, and then probably the cheapest thing is actually to pay the staff to run it.
So I guess after those EDIs retire later, I guess it will just be stationary extended com engines, Part 2.2 Siemens, extractless 2s and HCMTs all running around.
I think that might be right.
Yeah.
I'll defer to your judgment. You seem to know a lot about rolling stock. You seem to know a lot more about this stuff than I did. I would build the infrastructure. I didn't run it. But as I said, you should think about becoming the Minister for Public Transport. So I reckon you do a great job.
Or I'd just be on a camera looking at the final videos of an EDI com engine while I'm just sitting in the cab of an Alstom later getting videos.
Yep, you could do that.
I'm so curious about the Suburban Rail Loop.
Yep.
What will the future trains be? High-tech, driverless robot trains? Is that true?
Yeah, they'll be driverless trains. That's right. Yep, and they won't be as big as the HCMT 7-car sets. I think they're going to be a bit smaller than that.
Like a 6-car?
I'm not sure. Yeah, so when I held the portfolio, it was pretty early on. We'd done a lot of that. We'd started doing some of those early works in terms of building the station boxes. We hadn't launched the TBMs at that stage, and we were still working out who would be the successful consortium that would have the contract to run the trains along the Suburban Rail Loop.
So I guess if they're automatic, something like the JFK Airport Rail Link back in New York.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think increasingly now, more of that rolling stock, you don't have drivers; they're driverless, and so that was a decision that the government had made. These will be the first driverless trains on our metropolitan network. They might even be the first driverless trains in the country. I'm not sure. You might know the answer to that question.
So I guess people now can just stare at the front window, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I think that would probably be right. I haven't seen the final designs, but construction's underway, and the Suburban Rail Loop, the first Suburban Rail Loop East, SRL East, will be completed around about 2035.
So I predict the parts of it will be from like Cheltenham to Box Hill.
That's correct. Yep. And then the idea would be you go from Box Hill around to Broadmeadows.
Yeah, then to Melbourne Airport.
And then down across to Werribee. Yep. And what we're also doing is we're untangling Sunshine Station, because Sunshine will make that almost like the Southern Cross of the West, and to start to disentangle the regional lines, and from Sunshine you'll have the link up to Melbourne Airport, and that will be where the Melbourne Airport Rail link will operate, and that will feed through the Metro Tunnel.
Before Sunshine, I think the first station that has to be moved is Melbourne Central. It's too confusing.
You're finding it confusing?
Yeah.
In terms of the way in which State Library intersects with Melbourne Central?
Yeah, and also the big shopping centre.
Yeah.
So I recommend it get moved.
Yeah, okay. One of the challenges we've had is, how do you integrate Town Hall with Flinders Street, and how do you integrate State Library with Melbourne Central? And it is interesting the way in which you see the old and the new together. But what's your favourite metro station? Because I've got to say my favourite one's Parkville. I think Grace's also her favourite one's Parkville. I find because it's so much light and it's quite cavernous.
Wait, you mean the Metro Tunnel?
The Metro Tunnel station, the one at Parkville. Have you been to that one at Melbourne University?
Wait, I have been, but only
going through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If you get the chance, get off at Parkville and look around, because it's beautiful, and that's 30,000 square metres, and it's light filled. It's cavernous. It's beautiful.
My one is like Town Hall.
Town Hall's your favourite?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think. So when I had the portfolio, Town Hall and State Library, they were still. I couldn't see as much of them because they were still active work sites, and I actually haven't walked through them. I should walk through Town Hall. So what do you like about Town Hall?
Like all the detailing and tilings and the information signs, and also too many exits.
Okay, that sounds good.
To build Buckley Street underpass right here in Essendon Station, the workers dug up 5,000 truckloads of soil. Where did that all mountain of mud actually go?
Oh, look, I think there was I don't know the answer to the question. I did see this question previously. I don't know the answer precisely, but because the soil would have been clean, because historically there wouldn't have been a lot of industrial uses, so it wouldn't have been contaminated. It was probably be repurposed for other uses, because sometimes people want to be able to use clean soil for other projects. So I think it probably would have been repurposed and reused.
Like gardening.
Yeah, like gardening, or if people have got like a block of land that falls away, they'll sometimes want to have that soil to fill up to make it level. So I'm pretty sure it would have been repurposed.
Some land can be in a little degree angle, but when the soil comes in, it'll just be flat.
Be flattened, yeah. There's often that demand for that clean fill soil, because that soil hasn't been contaminated. Now, obviously, if you've got soil that has been that's sat beneath a factory, or that sat underneath like a heavy industry, there's more likely that it would be polluted or contaminated. But because that soil was under Buckley Street and been there for probably 100 years, 150 years when they built Buckley Street, it's pretty clean, and so I think it would have been reused for other purposes.
Right. Like the Buckley Street underpass has our Melbourne trams, they have a green PTV triangles.
Yep.
That's like the same onto the Buckley Street underpass with just lights on top.
Yeah, so when we did the design, we wanted to try and make it green because of the greenery around Essendon, how you've got a lot of that sort of those natural gardens, and the view was we try to make it green to soften it and make it seem more in accordance with our community, as opposed to what they would have done back in the 1980s. They just would have made it concrete, and it just would have been grey and drab and boring. So they wanted to make it a bit different.
Yeah, so I think Buckley Street was one of the most dangerous level crossings.
Yeah, it was on our list of 50 level crossings that we removed. We said when we were elected in 2014, we would get rid of 50, and Buckley Street was a really bad level crossing because of the fact that when the trains were operating, the boom gates would come down and people could be stuck there for quite a long time, because, as you would know, you've got the Craigieburn line that goes up and down. You've also got the Shepparton line that runs through there in Seymour's, and so you'd have V-line running as well. So
also few freight trains in the early mornings.
Yeah, there's a few freight. There's not that many freight. You don't see, as I understand, there's not that many freight, but you certainly get a lot of V-line passenger services.
Yeah, but especially in evening rush, most down V-line trains stop at Essendon.
Yes, they do. Yep.
So there'll be a big halt, like when the train's departing at Mooney Ponds and crossing the Park Street level crossing, the boom gates will go down instantly, and that would be a long wait since that's 500 meters away from us.
Yep. So Buckley Street, I think because it had so much traffic, it was identified as one of the priority level crossings that we removed. We removed that back in the first term.
And that level crossing was also issued for the 903 smart bus.
Yeah. Because the bus would get caught at the level crossing?
Yeah, and it's a smart bus, so it would get crowded most of the time. So the passengers would just regret and just go to a train.
Yeah.
So now the smart bus has 2 available routes, but one of them has to take a sharp left onto Mount Alexander Road.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, we had to reconfigure that all around there, and so particularly if you're looking at the intersection with Buckley Street and Mount Road, we've had to reorganise that and make sure that it integrates better. So it took a bit of adjusting and took a lot of time, but there was a bit of controversy at the time when we did it, but overwhelmingly people have responded really well to it.
that giant tunnel machines that had names like Joan and Meg.
Yep.
Is there a cool story behind that?
Yeah, so as I said earlier, with a lot of the tunnels, for good luck, they're named after women. And so Joan was named after Joan Kerner, who was a former Premier of Victoria. Meg was named after Meg Lanning, who's an Australian cricketer. Interestingly, what I wanted to do, and I haven't told anyone else this before, so this is a bit of a world exclusive. When we were doing the North East Link tunnels, we were going near an arts complex called Heidi. And the woman who set up Heidi in the 1920s, her name was Sunday Reid. And I thought it'd be really cool to name one of the tunnels after her. But I spoke with her family and they said, oh, she didn't really like those sorts of projects. So I said, okay, we won't call it Sunday. We called it something else instead. But I wanted to call it Sunday. I thought that would be really cool. Heard it first.
When the trains zoom up on the SkyRail at about 60 kilometers per hour, doesn't your team design it so cleverly to protect the privacy of families living right next to the tracks?
Mm-hmm.
But there'll also be horror especially on the track between Carnegie and Clayton, there's also V-lines passing, so that'll be a loud horn.
It would be a loud horn, and I think that there's, as I've learnt about horn blowing on our train system, there's a standard you've got to follow and there's rules you've got to follow. But certainly I think building the elevated rail from Caulfield all the way to Dandenong has created more opportunities. It's been quite an effective solution. We've got more public space that people have been able to reclaim, and it's resulting in a better outcome.
Right. If Caulfield to Dandenong is going to be SkyRail, I don't know how those HCMTs will access Western workshops.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work. I think elements are that they go up and they go down. I don't think they're elevated all the way.
Like Morty Alec.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yep.
Instead of wasting space, you turn the ground on the SkyRail into parks and basketball courts, like around Moreland or Coburg.
Yep.
How did you get that brilliant idea?
Oh, well, I think it's you go through a design process and you talk to people, you consult with the community. I think that we had these ideas when we were in opposition. We weren't in government, so we didn't have access to engineers or people who really understood how you make it a reality. We just said we're going to do it. And so when we got into government, we had to work with engineers, and then we had to talk to the community and say, what do you think and what would you like? Some at the time with CD9, with SkyRail, some people liked it, some people didn't like it. It was a bit controversial. But I think overwhelmingly, if you went and said to people, well, this is what you've got now, would you rather have what you've got now, or would you rather have what you had 15 years ago or 12 years ago? They would say that they prefer what they have now. Overwhelmingly, people would say that's the right thing to do.
Like, Glenroy Station used to be a big maze. No, not a maze, but a bit impossible with the underpassing.
Yep.
So I think they put the grade separation to put it on the ground.
Yep.
Around Anzac Day in 2022.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think every level crossing is different, and and you've got to find the right treatment based upon what you think is the right thing to do. And with Buckley Street, we looked at it really carefully when we thought that putting the road under the rail line made more sense. We looked at a whole range of options, and we determined that was the best thing to do. And I'm really pleased that's what we did.
It's amazing that traffic didn't stop while the gantry cranes lifted bridges into midair. How challenging was it to manage all these in a huge mission?
Yeah, look, I think with Buckley Street we had concentrated periods, and we had to try and get people to bypass the area. What we tried to do is to have like really concentrated periods where you would have to either shut down the rail line or shut down the road. One of the challenges with Buckley Street, where the underpass is now, there was a really large saw pipe, and so we had to try to then build an alternative sewer pipe, then decommission that one. So it took a lot of time. But I think we found that it's better to have a period where you completely shut something down and you just send people in to work really hard to do the work, as opposed to partially shutting something down and it just goes on forever.
Like the Buckley Street, I think no trains were running when that Buckley Street grade separation were happening. So I believe there were two chunks: Essendon to Craigieburn regular train service and the city to North Melbourne.
Yep. There were disruptions while we did that, yeah. And that might go for, a few weeks at a time, and we had a lot of buses that we needed to use in order to get people around.
Wait, so where were the buses coming and ending?
Well, I think the buses were coming in at Essendon, at Rose and Russell Street, and then they would just work their way down the line to North Melbourne.
So I guess partially from Essendon to Craigieburn, there was a train shuttle.
Yeah, because I think you just to the north of Essendon, you've got the turnback options.
Yeah.
So you've got the ability to have the train to come down and then turn back and head back up to Craigieburn. And that's why I think from Essendon to North Melbourne, when we were doing the Buckley Street level crossing, you had to get buses to replace trains.
And there also used to be Broadmeadows services until they only got to 2 services every single weekday morning.
Yeah, well, I think, we trying to work out when we did this. You had the line from Broadmeadows to Craigieburn, and then we electrified that line. We probably did that about 20 years ago, I think. And then so instead of having a V-line service from Broadmeadows to Craigieburn, you've now got a metro service, which means you can run more services more often.
Yeah. And also, till 2020, they also used to be Broadmeadows services.
Yep.
Most of the time.
Yep. Well, I think as time goes on, as our city changes, you have to then rewrite the timetable. We have to make changes. Certainly when we commissioned the Metro Tunnel, that's the biggest single rewrite of our public transport timetable since 1981 when we opened the City Loop. So, and that takes a fair amount of time and work to try to work out how do you reschedule services.
As long as the Essendon station down platform signals are not broken, they can easily turn back.
Yeah, I think that's right, because you've got that turn back feature just to the north of Essendon station.
If that turn back was never installed, I think it would have to. The Craigieburn line would have to get some buses all over the line.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, and having those services there just makes it that bit easier.
Yeah, so I think the Essendon line, now the Craigieburn line, has been electrified. The second line. The Craigieburn line has been electrified as the second one back in 1980 when those dog boxes were electric.
Okay. Well, you know more about our metro system than I do, I've got to say. That's good. So have you always been interested in trains?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Did the special rubber padding and plastic panels underneath the tracks really work in keeping the SkyRail train super quiet for neighbours?
You're testing me on my knowledge. I'm going to have a guess. I'm going to say yes.
Wait, how's that?
I don't know. I'm just guessing. I haven't heard any complaints. So if I had heard, usually my experience in politics, if people don't like something, they're pretty good at letting you know. And I haven't heard any complaints. But then again, I wasn't the Minister for Public Transport, so they may have been complaining, but I never heard it. I don't know.
You expanded the school breakfast club so no kids start school hungry. What made your personality care so much for this amazing program?
Oh, I think as a government, we recognise the fact that if kids have trouble learning if they're hungry, and in making sure that you've got those opportunities to provide that level of support with kids is something really important and something that we're really proud that we've done as a government.
Like, I've been to the breakfast club yesterday. I just, amazed. So I just took a bit of Cheerios and a fruit cup with me.
Is that pretty good?
Yeah.
Yep. Breakfast of champions.
Yeah. And just in the middle of just 15 minutes to spare.
Good. Excellent.
The finances, all numbers, but creative industries are all art and magic. How did your brain balance managing these two completely opposite worlds?
Well, I think you've got to find when you're a minister is that you have to allocate your time and you have to deal with issues as they arise. And you've got to be pretty good at compartmentalising elements of your work and recognise you can go from a meeting talking about an issue about the state's finances to the next meeting you might be talking about an arts project or an arts program. But I mean, I love the creative industries. I had so much fun, and I found that with artists, they just most artists feel very passionate about their craft, and they just hope that you feel a little bit of passion that they have for their work, which I never had a problem with. I had a great time.
Need to ask you questions.
Mhm.
How will kids take this opportunity in some way, is in some negative way? It has you tell it to kids. Melbourne is supporting the digital cultural capital, and you back the video into game development through VicScreen. Why is it supporting digital creators so important to you?
Well, I think in terms of Melbourne has been traditionally the home of gaming in our nation, and it's a significant export earner. So if we get this right, we can get significant income coming to our nation. And I've always thought it's really good to try and find ways where we can really focus on that digital offering, gaming, the intersection between screen and gaming, so that you might have a really great film, but can you get a digital game out of it as well? And I just thought it'd be really good and a lot of fun to try and encourage that. Same with sports technology. We're our sporting capital here in the nation. Finding ways in which you can try and use technology to improve the spectator experience or to improve the way in which a game is played, I reckon it's pretty cool.
Danny, you've served our community for so many years, but recently you made a very big decision to retire and step down from politics. What led you to make this major choice? Are you looking forward to spending more quality time with your family?
Absolutely, yeah. Now, look, I've had a great run. I've loved being the member for Essendon. I've been so fortunate to have been a senior cabinet minister for close to 6 years. I've had over a dozen portfolios. But the trick in life is to know when to let go and when to give someone else a turn. So I've been really lucky, really fortunate, had a wonderful time. But I'm 53 and it's time for me to go up and do something else and give someone else a go. You don't want to stay too long.
That was incredible, but before we wrap up today's show, it's time for the ultimate Kiddo Explorers rapid fire round.
Yep, ready for it. Hit me, baby.
Danny, no thinking, just one fast word.
Yep.
Answers, are you ready?
Yep, go for it.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Are you driving or walking?
Both.
Train ride or flight journey?
Train.
Cricket or football?
Ooh, footy.
Action movie or comedy movies?
Action.
Weekend plan, quiet rest or loud family outing?
I only know loud family outings.
The best dad or a strict dad?
Best dad or a strict dad? Is there a category for fun dad? Because I reckon I'm a lot of fun.
Like a best dad can be into a fun dad can be into a best dad.
Let's do that.
Who's louder, you or your 5 kids?
Oh, me. Yeah, I'm pretty loud.
What do your kids fight for more, PlayStation or Xbox?
Oh, well, my girls don't game, so they're not particularly interested. The boys are more likely to fight over the PlayStation, I think.
So they'll just ban Minecraft all day.
Left to their own devices, they'll do all sorts of things on the PlayStation. So you've got to have a level of discipline and control, otherwise it's anarchy. It's crazy.
Like addiction, or they'll just go too crazy, then they'll never stop.
Correct, that's right.
One word to describe Victoria.
Amazing.
That was amazing, Danny. It was so much fun talking to you. Thank you so much for being a great such sport. Thank you so much, Danny, for sharing your incredible insights on our infrastructure and your personal experiences with us.
Well, I look forward to catching a HCMT and you driving it. And if you don't end up doing that and you end up being the Minister for Public Transport, give me a shout out.
Good luck for your retirement life. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, mate. Good on you. That's good.
So there you have it, friends. A wonderful chat with our Essendon leader, Danny Pearson. We unlocked so many secrets from Metro Tunnel to his 5 kids. If you love this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to subscribe again to the Kiddo Explorers. See you in the next one. And bye.